Hey guys, Jeremy here from Adreno Outfitters, and I'm here talking to you today about the Garmin range, the MK2 range of dive computers. Lucky enough to be wearing one at the moment, the MK2S, and this is some of the most exciting developments in dive computers in recent years. With the growth of multiple sports, growth of interest in multiple sports, many people expect a lot more from their equipment now, and Garmin have been listening to divers, listening to their consumers, and making sure that they deliver to you a product that ticks all of those boxes. But in this case, they deliver it to you in a beefed up dive computer. It's tough, it's ready, and today we're going to look at some of the key features and why you might want to consider it as part of your kit. Garmin, you might have seen, had the MK1, the Descent, which came out about 4 to 5 years ago, and it was actually met with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of early intake, and that's based on Garmin's reputation for building high quality instruments. From navigation to sports watches, communication, that's what they specialize in. They make great stuff. The Descent now did so well, it's sold out everywhere, and they have brought out the MK2, which was met with huge excitement. What Garmin really have done is listen to the feedback from the MK1 and brought out a computer that really meets the criteria of a serious diver. First thing that the Mark II does differently is got a beautiful big screen. So a lot of people wanted that. They wanted something a little bit brighter, a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to read, and amazingly, from the MK2S through to the MK2s, man, it is such an easy to read computer. I've been wearing this one for a couple of days now, and in all light, in all conditions, these things are amazing. Super easy to read. Just with the factory watch face that's on there, terrific, but as you probably know with Garmin, you can download your own watch faces, you can download something and make it, customize it to yourself. Now, when we look at the Garmin Descent range, you're going to get all of the sports features that you'd find in something like the Fenix 7. So if you do want a review on all of the sports features, I'd recommend you go check out something like that. But these computers do everything you want. Cycling, running, heart rate monitors. It's got golf if you want to know just how bad you are at golf. SUPs, kayaks, you can jump out of a plane. You can do all sorts of things with these, which does highlight, they have multiple different gauges going on, from altitude to barometer to depth. So it's really important that you are aware of all those things when you're looking after your dive computer. Now, when we talk about Garmin and we talk about these computers, we really need to highlight one of the things that set these things apart, and that is construction. Across the range, from the MK2S through to the MK2s, we've got sapphire display. Sapphire display is really at the forefront when we talk about a dive computer that is easy to read. It doesn't require any kind of screen protector, so you can read it and make the most of that beautiful backlit display, and you can really enjoy that throughout your entire dive and while you're doing all of your other activities. So sapphire display, super good, super tough. Then we move into the MK2S and MK2, and these both have stainless steel bezels. So which means any of those impacts are going to, first of all, connect with the stainless steel bezel before it even hits your screen. In the case of the MK2, we also include a PVD coating. PVD, if you're unaware, makes it more resistant to saltwater corrosion. Perfect for the ocean environment. Which then we move along to the MK2i. This is the premium watch in their range, and now we introduced a titanium bezel. Super light, super tough, completely non-corrosive, one of the best metals known to man for use in the ocean environment. A quick side note on these, had a customer a little while ago come in, bring in his Garmin and needing a new pin for the strap. His computer was a little bit beat up, and after a little bit of pressing, he admitted that he'd left it on top of his car, took off down the highway, and it flew off the top of his roof, was run over by multiple cars before he could manage to go and get it. That thing, still working, a little bit scratched up, but if that is not a testament to the toughness of the Garmin range, I don't know what is. So definitely up to the rigors of diving. So it's really in a league of its own there. Now, when we still talk about toughness, we've got fantastic, super tough silicone straps, but we also have a wonderful feature in the Garmin range, and that is that they come with quick link straps. So with those, they are quite easy to move. You can remove a strap and you can put on a different strap if you're wearing it day to day or wearing it for different sports. Quick link straps make it a real easy thing to use and not wear out your silicone strap for diving and maybe use a different strap for something else. But in saying that, super tough, and the customers coming in for replacement straps are few and far between. So yeah, super tough even in that regard there. Now, why do we want toughness? Well, think about what you're putting it through. And in particular at Adreno, we have a lot of customers who are here which are focused on spearing. Spearfishing endures some of the most tough conditions, reaching your hands into places, rocks and coral and caves, and dealing with a lot of brutality. So you need a lot of toughness in these computers, and that's what it's going to deliver to you. Now, when we talk about our dive computers here with the Garmins, there's a lot of information out there about the scuba diving aspects of the Mark II. One thing that we will probably highlight more on the Mark IIs is the MK2i, which you can pair with the T1 transmitter. There is some serious technology going on here. MK2i does come with a higher price tag, and that's for a reason. It does have some increased technology there for talking with sonar to your Descent 1, which is different from the RF frequencies that come with the other transmitters on the market. These things can be information can be received up to 10 meters away, which makes it actually very, very useful in circumstances where you might have multiple stage tanks. You might be doing tech diving in a group and you are unable to communicate, or you can personalize this and have your buddy's name on your computer showing up. Jeremy here, and he has got this much air remaining. So incredible for group control and dynamics. So if you are in a group teaching situation, you could be keeping an eye on all of your students by fitting this transmitter and feeding that information directly back to your MK2i. And that is a major difference. You can have up to 5 different transmitters running with your MK2i, and when, as mentioned, up to 10 meters away, which is quite remarkable technology. So for complete control as well over all your data for your dive. So if you use this correctly, you could be analysing how long it's going to take you to get back to your surface, how long does it take you to get through your tank, your sack rate, all those bits of information combined. So really, really incredible technology there that they brought to you, and that was the #1 thing customers wanted out of the MK2 range. When we come back to probably our most popular MK2, and that is just the basic MK2 itself, huge uptake in the Spiro community and freediving community for this one. It has an incredible feature through there in your apnea mode and your apnea hunt mode, and you can turn that thing into a silent unit, so you are not disrupting fish life. You can have vibration alarms so that you can keep in contact there with the information if you want to set yourself a depth alarm or a time alarm, so you're keeping good track of your own physiology while you're on your dive. Well, then those are great features to use in apnea mode. So unlike a lot of other dive computers, it's going to allow you to be silently stalking those species and engaging in a good hunt with all of that useful information right there of your time and your depth, and keeping you safe. Also keeping you safe with your surface intervals. So for a Spiro, these things are incredible. Also bringing into that, everyone wants to keep all of their secret spots. These things are going to record your ins and outs, your secret locations via GPS. So as you enter the water and leave the water, these maps are downloadable. You can record your location while diving. So this makes any one of these a remarkable tool for someone who is a Spiro looking for adventure, or even a scuba diver looking for some your marks for your own new spots that you're locating. When we look at the battery life of these computers, so on your MK2S, you're getting up to 30 hours dive time out of your dive computer, 7 days in your standard smartwatch mode. In Mark IIs, we're looking up to 80 hours dive time. That is a huge amount of dive time before you need to have a recharge. So we are talking an item here that is useful for you on your liveaboard trips, far remote locations before you even need to charge. Your transmitter here, up to 100 hours battery time, and a user changeable battery. So that makes it also very, very handy. A lot of people want to know, can I change my own battery? Well, yes, you can with the T1, and then you have rechargeable here, making it, once you've bought these things, there's very little expense related going forward. So while they are an expensive item, practically no expense in keeping them running, unless you need to buy straps or a battery for your transmitter. So very, very functional for remote locations, very, very tough, able to access other beautiful things like Wi-Fi, able to use things like Garmin Pay. So if you are at the dive resort and you don't know where your wallet is, you don't know where your phone is, well, you can use your watch to pay for that little thing that you've forgotten that you needed for your dive. So fantastic, again, functionality. They've really thought through this for the divers. And also you can pair these used with the InReach Mini. So we're talking about safety, again, in remote locations, communicating help when you need it. So there's a lot that can be done there in making sure not only you're safe on your dive, but safe in the location that you are in. Other than that, if we look at these computers, we're looking at the algorithm. Now those have the Bullman algorithm. Okay, so Bullman is the standard algorithm for people doing serious technical diving. It does allow you to go to, and this is like we're talking about scuba here, it does allow you to go to within a minute of your no-deco time before you actually get into deco diving, which does mean you need to pay attention and you need to build in a certain level of conservatism. And on these watches, it is super intuitive and very easy to change from a low, medium and high level of conservatism to make sure you're safe and keeping safe with your buddy. Which does bring us to, in general rule, the interface. What's it like to actually use the Garmin? It is super easy. You have 5 buttons on there for moving up and down through your menus, and you can change it to whatever language you like. You can, and it is all in simple to use terms. So meaning, to be honest, I've never even read the manual before I started playing with this one. So I was able to work out a lot of the menus, a lot of the access points to understand how this worked. And that was the whole point of not reading the manual, was to see how easy is this thing to use, how intuitive is it for the user, particularly if you get yourself in a situation where you need to change a feature while you're out on the road. So for those of you who are thinking about buying a dive computer coming up, seriously would consider, ask you to consider the Garmin, as it is useful for you, as we mentioned, multi-sport, more people doing more sports than ever. This is a great investment rather than buying multiple units, one to cover each sport. So it ticks all of those boxes while being super rugged. Also, one thing that we would want to highlight with the computers here, failure points for computers, battery changes, really key time where a computer can experience failure through fresh charge of a new battery, the pressure testing, replacing of O-rings, potentially some debris being in the way. Well, you don't need to worry about that with the Garmin. The other thing the Garmin have done with the MK2 is they've moved from a pusher and O-ring style button, they've moved to an inductive button, which essentially removes another failure point. So meaning there's no chance any water ingress can occur on the actual body of the computer. So we're taking away failure points and meaning your computer should last a whole lot longer. Overall, that is the Garmin MK2 range. They're a fantastic computer and one that you definitely want to consider. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching this video about the Garmin MK2 range. I hope it's given you a lot of information to think about when you're making your purchase of your dive computer.